Hey guys, Conrad Jacobells here for Park City Television. I'm outside the Swanner Preserve and Eco Center, here to check out the Art and Science of Arachnids exhibit taking place right now all the way to December 9th. I'm gonna go inside and meet up with Leslie Roberts to check out the exhibit and see why you shouldn't be afraid of these creepy crawlies. All right guys, I'm in the Swanner Center. Standing with Leslie.
Hi.
Thank you so much for doing this. I'm excited.
Thanks for coming down. We're happy to have you.
So the Arachnid exhibit is going on from October to December.
Yes.
Why put on an Arachnid exhibit?
Well, we're just amazed by these beautiful creatures. This particular exhibit is the largest collection of live arachnids in the United States. We've got tarantulas, whip scorpions, tailless whip scorpions, vinegaroons, all kinds of really beautiful creatures to see, and they're all alive. So
yeah, no, we were kind of going around and seeing some of them. We have a guy right here hanging out. They're beautiful. And what defines an arachnid versus just an insect? Because they are different.
Basically, it's the body part. So the insects have a head, thorax, and abdomen, whereas arachnids have a cephalothorax and an abdomen, and of course the 8 legs.
Yeah, and one thing again that I want to touch on that is really relevant with people: arachnophobia.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at some of these guys, they can be a little intimidating, but they're more afraid of us than we should be of them.
Yeah. I mean, getting to know these arachnids as we've had this exhibit, we've learned that, you know, a lot of times they're kind of afraid of us, so that, you know, will make them a little skittish and might scare you, but you can imagine how frightened they would be seeing someone our size come after them. So.
Well, and that's one thing where they'll get defensive. I mean, they'll kind of like make themselves look scary as a way of being like, hey, I don't want you to kill me, this is why I'm looking like this.
Yeah, exactly. Some will be skittish, some will throw urticating hairs, which is they flick the hairs off the back of their bodies to, you know, is a defensive mechanism. So that is kind of irritating to your skin. It might feel like, you know, like fiberglass or stinging nettles. So that's usually their first line of defense. They typically don't want to have to use venom and bite you, because that's not what they're designed for. They're designed to kill their prey, not to bite humans.
So we're at the first cube. What are some of the arachnids at the first cube that people can look forward to?
Oh, so we've got all kinds of beautiful tarantulas here. We've got the metallic pink toe tarantula. A lot of the pink toes are common pets as tarantulas.
Okay, so these are your household pets that you see?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. A lot of the tarantulas are very beautifully colored. So if you put a light on them, you'll see that they have beautiful blues and reds and yellows. This particular cube will talk about, you know, arachnids in medicine and, you know, their contributions to, you know, painkillers, cancer treatments, things like that.
So Leslie, now one of the spiders I was super excited to see was the Goliath bird-eating tarantula. Now these guys get huge. I mean, you were saying they have a 12-inch long leg span.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, so they're one of the largest tarantulas, and this guy actually seems to be pretty docile. But yeah, they'll get a 12-inch leg span, and they're just beautiful tarantulas. We don't feed them birds. I don't think they typically eat birds, but they probably could, but we feed them live crickets. Some of the tarantulas from, you know, Asia and Australia, places like that, will be a little bit more aggressive, whereas some, you know, in, you know, North America and places like that, you know, South America, are going to be a little bit more docile. They're probably going to want to hide rather than stand up and rear their legs in defense. So.
But I mean, it's not like you're going to be walking down and all of a sudden this thing's just going to charge at you and eat you. Yeah.
No, that won't happen.
Maybe if you're a bird. All right, so now we're standing in front of a vinegaroon.
Yes.
I had not heard of these guys until you showed me them. What are these things?
They are really strange looking, aren't they?
Yes.
They're closely related to a scorpion.
Okay.
So they have the big pincers and they have, you know, legs for feeling. They don't sting, so that, you know, stinger in the back doesn't do anything. It's more for like sensory perception.
more like a filler than an actual stinger.
Yeah, and when these guys are threatened, they will spray an acetic acid. That's why they're called vinegaroons. So.
And does that acid give off like a vinegar taste? And
yep, it's smells and kind of tastes like vinegar, so you know, their prey will not find them very tasty, and so they'll leave them alone, which is a great defense mechanism.
And these things are actually found in North America.
Yeah, they are found in North America. They like to burrow, so you'll see their big pincers like moving dirt. They're like little
bulldozers just
exactly.
moving. It's so cool. I mean, and they're beautiful creatures.
Yeah, and another one that's very docile. He looks threatening, but if he saw you coming, he would definitely run in his burrow and hide.
All right, Leslie, so this is the second cube, and this talks about arachnids, scorpions, and spiders in pop culture, which they kind of get a bad stigma as murder machines, but they're not.
Yes, yeah. So this is kind of talks about, you know, how our connection is with arachnids in different films that you've seen over the years, in literature, music, and, you know, our connection with arachnids.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we got, you know, Indiana Jones here, Lord of the Rings, Scorpion King. I think there was some mention of David Bowie over here. It's amazing how relevant these things are to everyday life, and not just like, oh yeah, you know, they're living creatures. They're also in pop culture everywhere we look.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you know, we're fascinated with arachnids, and you know, it comes out in you know, our music, our culture, folklore, stories, everywhere, in all parts of human life.
And especially with it being fall time now, I mean, you'll see Halloween decorations with like the giant spider that will come down from the web and try to scare kids. So even in decorations, we see spiders.
Yes, yeah, they're amazing creatures, and once you can get past that fear, you truly will be fascinated with them.
All right, Leslie, we're at the last cube, conservation. One thing I think we need to touch on is how people see spiders in their houses and sometimes freak out. It's not a bad thing. They're actually good roommates to have.
Yeah, they're quiet roommates, you'll see, and they're great housekeepers. So they get rid of the insects that you don't want in your house, the mosquitoes, the flies, the earwigs. So as long as you're not bothering them, they're not gonna bother you, and they'll help keep your house a little tidy.
And there's an interesting thing you pointed out before we were on camera. You said there was a couple tarantula species that were actually put on the endangered list while they were transporting the exhibit here, and they couldn't be brought over. Is there anything people can do to kind of maybe help preserve tarantula species, or is it kind of just like a, hey, we'll just try to keep them in a habitat and keep them alive?
Well, I think, you know, just habitat loss in general is a critical issue for not only arachnids, but, you know, all animals. So, you know, conservation really, people don't set aside land to conserve arachnids, but they're part of, you know, a bigger ecosystem. So when you conserve land for panda bears or grizzly bears, you're also conserving that habitat for arachnids as well.
Yeah, I think it's funny how we'll see like save the elephants and, you know, save the tigers, but we should also be saying save the spiders, because I always go back to a picture I see on the internet that's like, this is what the world would look like if there was no spiders, and it's just insects everywhere.
Exactly. the insects would just ravage our food supply, and it would cause a lot of problems, you know. It's a delicate balance. You need those, you know, prey species in there, so.
More details on the exhibit. Why should people come and see this thing? Because me personally, this is really cool to see these arachnids up close and personal.
It is amazing. It's one of the coolest exhibits we've had so far. It's 100 live arachnids. It's the largest arachnid exhibit in the United States. You'll get to see so many beautiful spiders, and it's going on now until December 9th. If you want to come on a day when we're feeding the arachnids, we feed them live crickets every Thursday. Okay. So if you want to see a little bit of their personalities and come to life, come on a Thursday and check it out when we're feeding them, and just enjoy and learn a little bit more about spiders, and become one of those people that isn't afraid anymore and just enjoys their beauty.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Leslie. I
Thanks,
appreciate
Conrad.
it. Thank you for showing me these beautiful, amazing creatures and kind of helping tell people that, hey, these things are sometimes your friend and not the villains like we see sometimes in pop culture.
Exactly. Thanks, Conrad.
Thank you. So guys, that's gonna do it for me at the Swanner Preserve and Eco Center. Definitely come and check it out. It's right at Kimball Junction in the shopping center. The exhibit ends December 9th, so there's still plenty of time to check it out. Guys, it was super exciting seeing all those different arachnids, from spiders to scorpions. So cool, so creepy and crawly. I absolutely loved every minute of it. I'm gonna throw it back to you guys in the studio.